Hello, this is Sudhir Kumar Dwivedi, Assistant Professor of Law from Gemtech School of Law, Greater Noida. The topic for today's lecture is caveat under the subject drafting, pleading, and conveyancing. Here in this lecture, we will deal in short what is caveat and what is the format of the caveat. Since it is the subject drafting, pleading, and conveyancing, that's why our focus will be on the drafting rather than focusing on the uh, you can say substantive part of the caveat. You must have studied this topic in CPC, that is the Civil Procedure Code. Let's see what is the caveat. A caveat is a Latin term which means let a person beware. So the Latin meaning is that person should be aware, should be made aware. Being aware of something is like caveat, which originated in mid 16th century. In law, it may be understood as a notice, especially in a probate matter, that certain actions may not be taken without informing the person who gave the notice. It is also important here that in Civil Procedure Code, the word caveat has not been defined. Since it is a Latin word and the meaning denoting that a caveat is an entry made in the books of the Office of Registry or court to prevent a certain step being taken without previous notice to the person entering the caveat. So it is, you can say, it is a notice to be informed, and without informing, no action will be taken. That is the main motto behind the caveat. In case Nirmal Chand versus Grindra Narayan, AIR 1978, Calcutta 492, the Honorable Court defined the word caveat. As per the code, the term caveat is very common in testamentary proceeding. A caveat is a caution of or warning giving notice to the court not to issue any grant or take any step without notice being given to the party lodging the caveat. It is a precautionary measure taken against the grant of the probate or letter of administration, as the case may be, by the person lodging the caveat. So ultimately, if we analyze this judgment, we find that it is a precautionary measure that you file an application that without you informing you, the court will not take any step. That is the main motto behind the caveat. As per section 148A of the Code of the Civil Procedure 1908, a right to lodge a caveat which deal with caveat. Section 148A reads as under: where an application is expected to be made or has been made in a suit or proceeding instituted or about to be instituted in a court, any person claiming a right to appear before the court on the hearing of the such application may lodge a caveat in respect thereof. So if you analyze the first clause, Then where an application is expected to be made means the case has not been started, the application has not been made, but there is some expectation that application can be maybe made. Or if the application has already been made in any suit or proceeding instituted are about to be instituted, means the suit has already not been instituted but it is about to be instituted, and the person who is filing a caveat is claiming a right that on proceeding of such application or suit he must be heard. That is the concept behind the caveat. And the second clause read as, where a caveat has been lodged under subsection 1, the person by whom the caveat has been lodged, hereinafter referred as a caveator, shall serve a notice of the caveat by registered post, acknowledgement due on the person by whom the application has been or is expected to be made under section 1. So here a duty has been imposed on the caveator that if the person is filing any application for the caveat, then it is the duty of the caveator that he should send an acknowledgement to the person who has already filed the suit or is about to file the suit or application. He will send a notice that I have filed a caveat with an acknowledgement that the acknowledgement is here that is for the purpose that the notice has been received by the person. It is the duty of the caveator. Now the third clause, where after a caveat has been lodged under subsection 1, any application is filed in any suit or proceeding, the court shall serve a notice of the application on the caveator. So once this requirement of the sending a notice from the side of the caveator has been fulfilled, then in a later on proceeding, if any application or something anything is filed in any suit or proceeding, then the court will inform the caveator. As per clause 4, where a notice of any caveat has been served on the applicant, he shall forthwith furnish the caveator at the caveator's expense with a copy of the application made by him, and also with copies of any paper or document which has been or may be filed him in support of the application. So the person to whom the notice of the caveat has been issued, it is now his duty that when he filed any suit or application, he should provide all the copy of all the application or suit to the caveator, and if any document is attached with that suit or application, that should also be provided to the caveator. And as per clause 5, where a caveat has been lodged under section 1 subsection 1, such caveat shall not remain in force after the expiry of 90 days from the date on which it was lodged, unless the application referred to in subsection 1 has been made before the expiry of the said period. So the life, you can say the life of the caveat application is for the 90 days. However, it can be increased if the another application has been made in between. Now, what is the procedure for filing a caveat petition before the court? As we know that under clause 1, a caveat petition can be filed by a person who claims to hold the right of appearing before the court in either of the following situation. Number 1, where it is expected to make an application. Number 2, where already an application has been made. Number 3, in a proceeding or suit which is already instituted. In a proceeding or suit which is going to be instituted. In all these 4 condition situations, a caveat application may be filed. Now let's see what will be the structure of the caveat application. It will be like that in the High Court. Suppose this application has been filed in the High Court. It will be like that in the High Court of Delhi at New Delhi, caveat number so and so of the year, arising out of the judgment order dated so and so in suit number so and so, title of the case like ABC versus XYZ, passed by so and so judge, civil judge, and the district and the state from which court the judgment has already been passed. Then we'll start it like that in the matter of so and so, then the complete detail of the petitioner and the complete detail of the respondent should be provided. After that, it will be start like that: caveat under section 148A of the Civil Procedure Code, and the procedure by respondent, that is the caveator. Then it will start like that: most respectfully sought that Sri so and so civil judge of so and so district, Delhi, Ghaziabad, UP. If it is the Ghaziabad, then the state must be written Delhi. Then is the district. Suppose like it is Sahadra, Dwarka, whatever is the district, and then in after comma it will be like Delhi. After writing the code name, then the state name has passed order against the appellants in civil suit number so and so, and the title of the case like XYZ versus so and so versus ABC, on which date the order was passed, whereby the application for the amendment under other 6 Rule 17 CPC filed by the plaintiff would be petitioner was dismissed. This is the first para. Then after that it will be mentioned like that: the caveator is expecting that the plaintiff would be petitioner may file a civil miscellaneous petition under Article 227 of the Constitution of India against the said order in this honorable court. As such, this caveat is filed. As I already discussed, that there is some expectations that some application may be filed, and on that expectation the caveat application may be filed. Here there is expectation that the petitioner who was the petitioner in the previous case may file petition under Article 227 before the High Court. Now then the third para will be like that: the caveator has a right to appear and contest the civil miscellaneous petition if preferred by plaintiff would be petitioner. If preferred by means if the application would be filed, here already not been filed. Then the next para will be that the caveator desires that he may be given the notice of filing of the civil miscellaneous petition as and when the same is filed, the plaintiff would be petitioner, to enable the caveator to appear at the time of hearing for the admission, and no stay may be granted without hearing the caveator and respondent. Suppose sometime it is happened that on the first hearing the petitioner may demand the stay of the order which has already been passed by the lower civil court. In that situation, generally the caveat is filed in the appellate court, that if the party is going to the appellate court, then if they are appearing before the court, then the notice will be provided to the respondent who was respondent in the matter which was before the civil court, so that he may put his defense. If on the first hearing the petitioner is demanding for the stay or for any order, so the caveator, the respondent should have information that such application has been filed. That is the purpose. That is the purpose behind this caveat, that if any application or something is filed by the petitioner and without the information, without the notice to the respondent, if any judgment has been passed by the court, it may affect the right of the defendant respondent. That's why it should be like that you must file the caveat application. After that it will like that a copy of this caveat has been sent by the registered AD post to the plaintiff would be petitioner. As I already told, this is the requirement, that one application, one notice must be sent to the petitioner by whom it is expected that he will file a case. Then there will be prayer clause, that it is therefore most respectfully prayed that nothing may be done in civil miscellaneous application that may be filed by the petitioner without notice to the caveator or his counsel. That is the main motto behind this caveat. Then there will be sign of the caveator, advocate, place, date. And note, it is important to note here that an affidavit of the caveator duly attested by oath commissioner in support of his application is to be attached with this application. This is important. Now that's all about the caveat and its structure. Thank you.